And I'm sure there are some of you who are looking for Liberia visa that will type in the comments now, oh, stats is not everything for a center forward. Really, for a center forward, stats is not everything. 18 goals and 4 assists in 53 games are those Ballon d'Or numbers.
The Ballon d'Or is making a lot of waves at the moment, and in the spirit of it, we're here to discuss not who we think were the best, but who we think were some of the worst winners of this award. So welcome to Crossfire, brought to you by Life Scorebet. I am Anishilo, Kimi Anishilo, and I'm here with Tunde and Tosin to discuss who we think were some of the most undeserving winners of the Ballon d'Or. So today, who is your pick for the most undeserving Ballon d'Or winner?
This is a very important question because far too many times we focus on the people that deserve it and let the bombs seep through the crack. Bombs in relativity to whoever wins the Ballon d'Or is technically not a bomb, because to even be in the conversation means you are a great player. But at the end of the day, this award is supposed to represent the best players for a certain period of time. And there are some players that should never have made it. In fact, there's a long list of them. But the person that tops the list for me, and it has always been on my heart. When I tell you that since I've been watching football, I've always heard the name. And I've always wondered why. Because I grew up in an era of internet. Tosin was born much younger, much older. But when I was growing up, I would look up. Now the stars with this. Maybe do something else where they no put. Because when you watch him too, there's nothing. Well, because he's my fellow African brother, the only African Ballon d'Or winner, George Opongwe, former president of Liberia. And again, the only African Ballon d'Or winner. So I've tried my best to not speak ill of him. So I'm not even going to speak ill of him. I'm just going to give statistics and let you judge and tell me if these statistics are worthy of a Ballon d'Or. Because he won it in the 1994, for the 1994-95 season. He won it in 95, but that was the season in consideration for when he won it. He played for PSG in that season. He scored 18 goals in total, 7 league goals. 7 league goals from a centre forward. He had 10 goals in the Champions League, which was the catalyst for him winning the award anyway. But the Champions League was... You should not win the Champions League award. Don't win the Ballon d'Or. And if you are thinking that, okay, maybe that was just a bad season on his part, and maybe he has had better seasons. No, that was as good as he got. The best he did in his career was 18 league goals for Monaco before he moved to PSG. Even the season after he won the Ballon d'Or, which brought him clouds, he signed for AC Milan. People started to talk about him in the light of one of the best strikers in the world. Try for AC Milan, he scored 13 goals the very next season. There's, again, no disrespect, but me, I don't see anything special about this brother. Like me personally, and the way people talk about him in African football, his image is severely inflated, and is definitely one of the most undeserving Ballon d'Or winners of all time. That's my own thoughts. I'm sure those thoughts are different, and I'm sure there are some of you who are looking for Liberia visa that will type in the comments now, oh, stats is not everything for a center forward. Really, for a center forward, stats is not everything. 18 goals and 4 assists in 53 games are those Ballon d'Or numbers. Let's even not talk about before Messi and Ronaldo ruined everybody's expectations with crazy numbers. There's no time in the history of football where 18 goals in 53 games has been impressive. There is no time. Even when they were still playing football without offside. Even when they were still playing football without, there was no law against back pass. If you pass ball for your keeper, make a cut and keeper feel the dribble come out with your hand like basketball. In all those times, 18 goals in 53 was not impressive. And I don't think that those are Ballon d'Or numbers. I'm sorry. It doesn't mean that George Weah wasn't a good player. He was a good player, but I think that's where it stops. I don't even consider him a top 3 African striker of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah, when the Liberians come for you, please.
Okay. I'm waiting for all 25 of them.
All right, Tosin, over to you. Who is your pick for the most undeserving Ballon d'Or winner?
Yeah, so there are a lot of players who have actually robbed a lot of other players of Ballon d'Or, and George Weah is one of them. And we are looking at it based on the context of that season. Based on the context of the season, the one that stands out to me is Cristiano Ronaldo in 2013.
You want to start right?
Cristiano Ronaldo in 2000. I'm telling you because I'm telling you.
Hey.
I'm telling you. I will go to the annals of history. I will go to the annals of history and rejog your memory in case you do not have it computed inside. So let's go to 2013 because it's something that keeps me up at night. I'm a Barcelona fan, but at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you as it is as a Barcelona fan, and I'm going to, as a football fan, how injustice was done. People should go to jail for this. In 2013, everything was going smoothly for Barcelona. Pep Guardiola has left. Messi has taken up the responsibility to take all the control and galvanize this team to the La Liga title. Even though our coach, Tito Villanova, God rest his soul, he was an assistant coach, but with Messi made everything work. You understand? Messi had just come off scoring 91 goals in the calendar year in 2012. Came back the next season, scored 46 goals in the league. Scored 46 goals in the league with 50 that he scored the previous season. That's 96 goals in just 2 seasons in La Liga. You understand? Was one of the top scorers in the Champions League. Then he got injured. You understand? He got injured. He came in as a substitute against Paris Saint-Germain. He worked his magic. We won that game. But the second leg when we got to the semi-final against Bayern Munich, he was injured. And Bayern Munich ran all over us. Everybody remembers the 3-0, 4-0 loss. And that was it, basically. It ended our Champions League hopes. But that season in Europe, nobody came close to Messi. And he also had the accomplishments to go with it, which was displacing that Jose Mourinho team that run to the league title the last season. You understand? And we responded by winning the La Liga last season, even though we didn't make multiple signings, because the signing that we were expecting, which was the Neymar signing, was going to come in 2013 at the end of that season. 2013, we've already agreed the deal, but it was going to come in the 2013-2014 season. And let me tell you what happened. You can go back, go to Google, and everybody that was alive during that time will tell you this. Just the way, you know that a couple of weeks before the Ballon d'Or comes out, there is always like a leak that this person is going to win the Ballon d'Or. You understand? Like, it's the work of journalists, it's the work of reporters to kind of scout that, okay, who is going to win the Ballon d'Or? And everybody was like, it's going to be Messi. And there was propaganda from Real Madrid. There was propaganda from certain aspects of the media saying that, where will Messi win? I'm like, the votes have already been cast because that time they joined the Ballon d'Or and the World Player of the Year together with FIFA. You understand? And the votes were already cast. All the captains of the clubs, everybody had already cast their votes. And they got to the point whereby they said Black, who was the FIFA president, had to say that, you know what, if you want to revisit your vote, and you can Google this is fact. They had to go to the fact that, like, votes that had already been cast for Messi. They said, if you want to go back and revisit and change your vote, wait before the Ballon d'Or announcement that you can go and change it. And some people now went and it was okay. And at the end of the day, when they announced their award in a couple of weeks, it was Cristiano Ronaldo. You can Google and verify what I'm saying to you. This is not, anybody that was in 2013 will remember that. Like, that was the first time in history whereby votes were cast for the Ballon d'Or and there was an opportunity because of propaganda to say you can come and recast your votes. And that one went on stage, started crying. I'm like, just stop with the tears. Stop with the waterworks. You understand? All this, because people are like, how is it that in the Messi and Ronaldo era, Messi had 4, Ronaldo had 1. Ronaldo had 1 at the time. You understand? Which was the one he won in 2008. And I'm like, this is a merit-based award. You understand? What does the fact that, okay, these are the 2 greatest players of this era, what does that have to do with the fact that Messi has 4 and he has 1? If Messi is better, give the awards to Messi. And Messi had the accolades, had the statistic to back up his claim. But propaganda denied him of that award. But because Messi is actually, he has a big heart. He's a generous person. Barcelona fans don't bring it up. But it's something that always keeps me up at night, that I've never ever seen Because Ronaldo is a great player. Nobody is denying that Ronaldo is not a great player. In 2013, what did Ronaldo do to deserve that award? He was not the best scorer in Europe. He was not the best scorer in La Liga. They didn't win the league. The Copa del Rey, should I tell you what happened in the Copa del Rey? I can tell you, they lost at home to Atletico Madrid. He didn't win nothing. He didn't win anything. What happened, if you recall, crystal clear, was that he scored a hat-trick against Sweden in the last playoff qualification for the World Cup. That is how this whole propaganda started. And everybody who is a football fan, a football historian, knows that Messi was robbed of that award. And for me, as great as Ronaldo is, he's undeserving of that award.
That's a very, very lofty accusation. But today, what do you have to say to what Tosin just said?
I was of the opinion we're just going to give objective analysis of the most undeserving Ballon d'Or winners. I did not know that this was going to be a starship thing. I don't see how anybody can say that any award won by Messi and Ronaldo is undeserved. Even the 2010 one that people tend to hold over Messi's head, in my opinion, it was very clearly the winner. Up until they started doing the BS that they did last year by just giving him the award because they don't want to give anybody else. How can you say Ronaldo is the most undeserving Ballon d'Or winner of all time? The same Ballon d'Or way Cannavaro win. No, talk to me. You were watching football in 2006 now. So was Cannavaro the best player in 2006? Let us reason with one another here and talk about it. How can Ronaldo be the most undeserving Ballon d'Or winner of all time? Modric literally won this award in 2018. Let's even say you know what you won in 2006. 2018 was 6 years ago. Modric won this award. Objectively one of the worst winners of the award in any ramification. If you want to consider the profile of a player, you want to consider the kind of season he had, you want to consider the person that he beat to the award, because that was arguably Ronaldo's best year. That was arguably Cristiano Ronaldo's best year. He was incredible in the Champions League and all of that. Even at the World Cup where Portugal got knocked out, he still had that iconic hat-trick with the free kick to say this. That gave Modric the award, because my own logic with Ballon d'Or is, especially before people come to the comment and start talking all this regurgitated nonsense about the World Cup year. There's nothing I hate more than that. The World Cup year. The World Cup has a player of the tournament award. It is for whoever excels at the World Cup. You should not give out the Ballon d'Or because somebody excels at the World Cup. It can make your case. It can't be your entire case. The logic is, if you were not already in Ballon d'Or contention before the World Cup, never in your life should they call you after the World Cup. And if they call you, you should have the shame, the self-respect, and the decency as a man to say, no, I'm not the best player in the world.
We talk that kind of thing.
No, if you're honest with yourself, because one day all of us will lay bare before God, where you cannot lie, where you cannot steal, where you cannot kill and destroy. None of them kill and destroy, but you get the point I'm making. The point is that Luka Modric, Fabio Cannavaro, the two biggest beneficiaries of the World Cup year. Fabio Cannavaro had a great year from an individual perspective. Was part of a Juventus team that was very good. Won the World Cup as well with Italy, one of the best defenses at the World Cup. But you can't say Cannavaro is the reason Italy had his fantastic defense. Italy had one of the greatest goalkeepers of all time. Italy had a back four. It was even back five at some point. And a killer midfield. Who once scored that Italy team? You still say that Cannavaro anybody they think about? Who was think like these are not this they are more credible. Some people might even say Nedved. Even though I disagree, and because Nedved actually had a decent year. It was a penalty shootout away from winning the treble. They lost the Champions League final at Old Trafford to AC Milan on penalties. In that year, he scored 17 goals and had 17 assists, which does not seem like a lot, but he's a winger. He's a proper winger. He's not a striker. It was fantastic that year for Juventus. It was terrific. Some might have said Thierry Henry had a better chance to win it that year. Maybe because it's a more popular name. But I also see why, I don't disagree with that, but I also see why Nedved won it. My point is, there is a long list of people that neither them or their relatives should have even been invited to watch the award. Let alone to win it. But Tosin decided to say Cristiano Ronaldo. What has Cristiano Ronaldo won that is not deserving? This thing is easy to be the second greatest player of all time. And again, this is not starship. I consider Messi is the greatest player of all time. So I'm not saying anything Messi wins is undeserved, at least in his prime years. But you cannot come and say that Ronaldo winning a Ballon d'Or is undeserved. Like Ronaldo 2013, that was party just the start. That was peak Ronaldo. Everything he touched now go. Everything turns to gold. And what are we talking about? Let's stop with the disrespect. Let us make an objective analysis of the actual undeserving winners. I called George Weah, you agree that it's a good pick. I did not put sentiment into it. You have brought in your Barcelona mindset. All of his arguments was we. Talking about they emailed him about they want to change the voting criteria. They told him beforehand who was going to win it. They told him the reason why. I don't know if you and the FIFA president are tight, but there's no way you could have known all of this. Make an objective analysis of the most undeserving Ballon d'Or, not the ones you don't like, not the ones that hurt your feelings, not the ones that broke your heart because of the club you support, not those ones. The most undeserving Ballon d'Or winner. Let Cristiano Ronaldo not be coming up in conversations like this. Let us try and keep it objective.
Personally, Tunde has said you should keep it objective. Do you have anything to say to him?
I kept it objective. Even though from a Barcelona fan's perspective, I explained that it keeps me up at night. Objectively looking at it, and I started my argument by saying that Cristiano Ronaldo is one of the greatest players of all time. That shows that like I have respect for his accomplishments already. That's a fact. I'm just looking at it in the context of the 2012-2013 season. And I'm telling you that there are irregularities. These things are, like, this is not anybody who has been a football fan from that, what's it 2012? We're talking about 2012, 2013. We're talking about 12, 13 years ago, right? Like anybody who was a football fan will tell you that since then, before then and since then, has there ever been a time whereby there was an invitation to change your vote for the Ballon d'Or? Has it ever happened before then and since then?
And you could have still just voted the same person if you shot for him.
It's because no. The reason when you pressure people, because here's the thing. People, human beings, when somebody sits down and says he wants to vote, and he makes his declaration on his vote, and he posts it, and that was another thing that also resulted into releasing the PDF files for the Ballon d'Or winners' votes. You understand? The captains and coaches and journalists. Somebody sat down in his house and voted. You understand? Then they now say you can come and revote, which means there's already a narrative to it. Because if there's no narrative to it, why are you saying you should come back and do it? The narrative to it is that like, oh, you guys are favoring Messi, and when the list comes out, I don't want my name, even though I have previously voted for Messi, I don't want to be seen as one of the people that has been favoring Messi over the years, because objectively speaking, the only person that could go shoulder to shoulder with Messi for that Ballon d'Or was Frank Ribery, and everybody knows that. Ribery said it in his biography that I was robbed of the everybody from their perspective, because it was going to come down to Messi and Ribery. Everybody knows that, and Messi was obviously going to win. From a statistical point of view, obviously Ribery played the pivotal role as Bayern Munich won the Champions League, but everybody knew that Messi was injured for that Champions League final. So for that Champions League semi-final, so if Messi was injured, so I'm not.
He refused to come off the bench.
Refused to come off the bench. Somebody is injured. One bad person go. Don't paint this narrative. Messi has 4 Champions League titles. His career is set. He's the greatest of all time. The point I'm just trying to make to you is this: George Weah, that's a good choice. I'm not in the context of that season. No disrespect to the great Cristiano Ronaldo, but he should not have won the 2013 Ballon d'Or, and I stand on that.
So Tosin has dropped a bombshell. Cristiano Ronaldo undeserving of the 2013 Ballon d'Or. Do you guys agree or not? Comments are open. Troop in there. Share your thoughts. I am Jimmy Anishilewo, and this is Crossfire, brought to you by Live Score Bets.